right down on the table, just behind the roster.
Good afternoon, Senator Hastings, Representative Nass, and distinguished members of the Judiciary Committee. I'm Representative Amy Volk from the town of Scarborough. I represent District 127, which is half of Scarborough. Whether you're pro-life or pro-choice, I think we can all agree that abortion, if it happens at all, should be safe and rare. I think we can also agree that education is never a bad thing, and informed consent is expected for any medical procedure. In looking over materials to prepare for my testimony, I learned a lot. For example, a 2009 study by P. Shah found that induced abortion increases the risk of preterm birth and a subsequent pregnancy by 37%, with 2 or more abortions increasing the risk by a staggering 93%. That goes a long way in my mind in explaining the increased rates of preterm birth we've seen over the last few decades. Another 2009 study by R.H. Van Openraj, probably just creamed that name, found similar rates of preterm births among mothers who had had previous induced abortions. That study further found that not only is she much more likely to give birth prematurely, but she is twice as likely to have a very premature baby, and that's a baby at less than 34 weeks gestation. As a woman, I find these statistics stunning. This seems like a well-kept secret when you consider that in 2006, the CDC announced that premature birth is the leading cause of infant mortality and a risk factor for many disabilities. All women deserve to know of these risks, but women or girls about to make a choice that could not only affect their own health in the short term, but that could affect their long-term health and even the health of their future children deserve the right to know these facts. On a personal note, I have had 4 children and done extensive reading about pregnancy and childbirth, particularly in preparing for the birth of my last child who was born at home, and I've never come across these statistics before, or any of this information. In a 5-4 plurality decision on Planned Parenthood v. Casey, the Supreme Court agreed, holding a challenge to Pennsylvania's informed consent mandate for abortion. They stated, as with any medical procedure, the state may enact regulations to further the health or safety of a woman seeking an abortion. They went on to say that any delays or burdens associated with a 24-hour reflection period or informed consent is not unreasonable, particularly where the statute directs that information become a part of the background of the decision. In my committee, I've become known for asking the question, what do other states do? In fact, 31 states maintain informed consent laws requiring that women be given specific information before undergoing an abortion. 24 states require that the information be given at least 24 hours in advance of the surgery. Just 6 other states do not provide a reflection period for a woman to review and consider the risk information before going through with her decision. Given the severity of some of the potential long-term complications associated with ending a pregnancy, it seems medically unethical not to allow a time of reflection and reconsideration before consenting to such a potentially life-changing medical procedure. LD924 respects women by giving them accurate information about their fetus. The abortion procedure, its potential long and short-term complications, as well as information on the risks of childbirth in 24 hours to weigh out. The choice of whether or not to have a child is a major decision with lifelong consequences. Shouldn't it be an informed one? Thank you for your time and consideration. Happy to entertain questions, though certainly not an expert.
Thank you, Representative Volk. Are there any questions? Representative Rochelle?
Thank you, Senator Hastings. Just a quick question about your statement in the second paragraph regarding the 2009 study. You seem to correlate the 93% increased risk with the increased preterm births we've seen over the last few decades. Is that a correlation the study made, or is that something you're just kind of inferring from maybe this is the cause of these things?
It was sort of, I stated it as my opinion.
Okay.
Are there any other questions? Representative Maloney?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I was just wondering where I could get a copy of that study, because I also have never heard that.
I actually, right in my briefcase, I have the information about it. I'm sure that the gentleman, the expert that's coming up, can talk to that.
Senator Bartlett?
Especially this is national data and not
It's actual data from, do you mean the preterm birth
Yeah,
information?
you've said a few studies, so these studies are national data.
Yeah, yes, national studies published in national medical journals.
Does it break down by state at all to get a comparison of how many cares there are?
I doubt it, but I don't know.
Representative Rochelle?
Sorry, just another question to kind of continue on that track. Did you look at all at some of what those other risk factors might have been from preterm birth and some of the other reasons why that increase might have happened other than just increase in risk with abortion?
The studies named, I'm not 100% sure.
Thank you very much, Representative, for being here today.
I'm sure that'll help make your day. There's going to be plenty of expert testimony behind me about these three important issues, but I did want to come here today and go on record as a co-sponsor of these bills. First of all, to thank the sponsors for bringing them forth, and also to encourage you to look at them very seriously and support them if you are able to. I think that these are some of the three most important bills that I've seen in my career in the legislature, and I think they deserve our support. These are bills that help protect the rights of women and our children, and I think the gravity of them is such that this hearing today is a very important exercise that we're engaged in. So I strongly encourage your support.
Thank you, Representative Burns. Are there any questions?
Thank you.